You walk into a room and immediately sense the unspoken tension between two friends. You notice the hidden sadness behind someone's smile, the fake enthusiasm in their voice. Everyone else seems oblivious, but you feel it all. You think this heightened awareness is a gift, but research from Dr. Elaine Aron's studies on highly sensitive persons suggests it might be slowly affecting your mental health and social relationships. Today, I'm exposing the 5 hidden signs that your awareness has become a psychological burden and the ancient Stoic strategies that protect highly perceptive people from mental burnout. Alan Watts warned about this phenomenon decades ago, and modern neuroscience research now indicates he was right. There's something peculiar that happens to certain people. They possess what psychologists call sensory processing sensitivity, the ability to read micro-expressions, sense emotional undercurrents, and detect what others completely miss. But here's what nobody tells you about this supposed gift. It can become your greatest curse. Research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology indicates that individuals with heightened perceptual awareness show elevated stress responses and report feeling isolated in social situations more frequently than the general population. The very trait that makes you insightful may be secretly making you miserable. Sign 1. The energy drain phenomenon. The first sign you're seeing too much is that mysterious exhaustion that hits after social interactions. Not the good tired from meaningful connection, but that heavy, soul-draining fatigue that feels like your energy got siphoned. Dr. Elaine Aron's research on highly sensitive persons, published in multiple peer-reviewed studies, shows that sensitive individuals experience heightened nervous system arousal during social interactions. Your nervous system literally enters a more alert state because you're processing not just your own emotions, but everyone else's hidden feelings, unspoken tensions, and masked anxieties. I watched someone meet a friend for coffee and return home needing a 3-hour nap. That's not normal social fatigue. That's your body's alarm system indicating that you're absorbing too much emotional data. Alan Watts described this perfectly when he said that some people become too conscious for their own good. You're picking up on every microaggression, every fake smile, every suppressed conflict in the room. Your brain is working overtime to process information that others naturally filter out. The ancient Stoics understood this danger. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." But when you're constantly absorbing outside emotional events, you lose that power. You become what psychologists call an emotional sponge, soaking up everyone's feelings until you can't distinguish your emotions from theirs. The Stoic solution: practice what Epictetus called selective attention. Before entering social situations, mentally establish what Marcus Aurelius termed the fortress of the mind. Decide consciously what deserves your awareness and what doesn't. Sign 2. The isolation trap. The second sign is progressive social isolation. Not because you're antisocial, but because your awareness makes others uncomfortable. When you see clearly, you become a mirror that people can't bear to look into. Studies on social rejection, including research by Dr. Kipling Williams at Purdue University, suggest that highly perceptive individuals may experience more frequent social exclusion. It's not because you're judgmental, it's because your very presence threatens the comfortable illusions others need to function. Think about it like this. Society operates like a stage play where everyone has agreed to stay in character. The successful businessman, the devoted mother, the reliable friend, these are roles people perform. But you, with your penetrating awareness, are like an audience member who stands up mid-performance and shouts, "That's just an actor pretending." I knew someone who could instantly read people's genuine emotions beneath their social masks. She lost every close friendship she had, not because she was cruel, but because people felt exposed around her. They couldn't maintain their comfortable facades in her presence. This creates what clinical psychologists describe as the curse of clarity. The more accurately you perceive reality, the more alone you become. You're speaking a language nobody else understands, seeing a world nobody else can see. The Stoic approach. Seneca taught that every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Accept that some relationships will end as you grow in awareness. Focus on finding the few people who can handle your level of perception, rather than dimming your light for the many who can't. Sign 3, the emotional absorption crisis. The third sign is losing track of which emotions actually belong to you. You walk into a room feeling perfectly fine and leave feeling inexplicably anxious, sad, or angry, with no idea if these feelings are yours or absorbed from the environment. Neuroscience research on mirror neurons, including studies by Dr. Marco Iacoboni at UCLA, indicates that highly empathetic individuals may have more active mirror neuron systems, meaning they may literally feel others' emotions more intensely. But unlike healthy empathy, this becomes pathological absorption where boundaries between self and others dissolve. This is what Alan Watts called the disappearing self, when you're so attuned to everyone else's inner world that you lose contact with your own center. You become like a radio picking up multiple stations simultaneously, unable to tune into your own frequency. Clinical psychologists report that patients with this condition often say, "I feel like I'm disappearing, like there's less and less of me and more of everyone else." This isn't poetry, it's a real psychological challenge where your identity becomes contaminated by constant emotional input. The ancient Stoics had a term for this: sympathia, the interconnectedness of all things. But they also taught the crucial skill of maintaining what they called the citadel of the self, your unshakable core identity that remains stable regardless of external chaos. The Stoic solution: practice daily emotional inventory. Ask yourself, which of these feelings actually originated from my own experience? Spend time in solitude to let your emotional system settle, like muddy water becoming clear when left undisturbed. Sign 4. The compulsive fixing syndrome. The fourth sign is the overwhelming compulsion to fix every problem you perceive. You see someone's hidden pain and feel responsible for healing it. You notice a group's dysfunction and feel obligated to correct it. You've made everyone else's unconsciousness your personal project. Research on codependency and helping behaviors, including work by Dr. Melody Beattie and studies published in the Journal of Clinical Psychology, suggests that highly aware individuals may be more prone to what researchers call compulsive helping or savior complex behaviors. This is where your awareness becomes truly dangerous. Not because you see clearly, but because you believe seeing obligates you to act. You're essentially taking responsibility for things that aren't yours to fix, exhausting yourself in impossible rescue missions. I observed someone who could instantly identify toxic relationship patterns in others. Instead of simply noting this information, she felt compelled to warn everyone, intervene in conflicts, and save people from their own poor choices. Within 6 months, she was labeled a drama creator and lost most of her social circle. The Stoics understood this trap perfectly. They distinguished between what they could control and what they couldn't. Epictetus taught that you can control your responses, but not other people's choices, growth, or consciousness level. The Stoic wisdom: practice what Marcus Aurelius called benevolent detachment. You can see clearly without making yourself responsible for what you see. Your job isn't to wake up the world, it's to remain awake yourself while allowing others their own journey. Sign 5. The reality distortion confusion. The fifth and most dangerous sign is when others gaslight you about your perceptions, making you question your own reality. They'll say you're too sensitive, reading too much into things, or creating problems that don't exist. Research on gaslighting and psychological invalidation, including studies by Dr. Robin Stern and work published in the American Journal of Psychiatry, indicates that individuals with accurate perceptions may be more likely to experience what researchers call reality invalidation, having their perceptions dismissed or pathologized by others. This creates a psychological split where part of you knows the truth, but another part must pretend not to know it to maintain relationships. Over time, this may erode your confidence in your own perceptions, creating what trauma specialists call epistemic injustice, being denied the right to know what you know. Alan Watts warned about this when he described how society punishes those who see through its illusions. You become the person who points out that the emperor has no clothes, and the crowd turns on you for disturbing their comfortable fiction. The most insidious part is that your accurate perceptions get labeled as mental health problems. You're called paranoid for noticing manipulation, unstable for reacting to gaslighting, or negative for identifying toxic patterns. The Stoic defense: trust your perceptions while protecting them strategically. As Seneca wrote, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Document what you observe. Find others who can validate your reality. Remember that your inability to comprehend others' behavior isn't naivety. It's your healthy brain struggling to understand people wired completely differently. The solution: Stoic Awareness Mastery. Here's how to transform your awareness from a curse into conscious power, using principles the Stoics mastered 2,000 years ago. First, practice conscious distance. Not cold withdrawal, but healthy boundaries. You can see clearly without being consumed by what you see. Second, develop what Marcus Aurelius called the view from above, observing situations without emotional entanglement. Your awareness becomes information, not obligation. Third, find your tribe. Other highly aware individuals exist. When you connect with people who see as you see, the isolation ends and your gift becomes a shared strength. Fourth, use the gray rock method with energy vampires. Become so boring and unresponsive that toxic people voluntarily seek more stimulating targets. Fifth, remember that consciousness develops at its own pace. People change when they're ready, not when you need them to. Your job is to remain clear while allowing others their own process. Conclusion. The danger of seeing what others don't is real. It can isolate you, exhaust you, and make you question your own sanity. But it doesn't have to destroy your peace. Your heightened awareness isn't a flaw to fix or a burden to bear. It's a capacity to develop consciously. The same trait that can make you miserable can also make you wise, compassionate, and genuinely helpful to others. When you learn to carry it with stoic strength. The ancient philosophers knew that consciousness comes with responsibility, not to fix everyone else, but to remain conscious yourself, while creating space for others to wake up at their own pace. If this resonated with you, you're probably one of the highly aware individuals I'm talking about. Subscribe for more content on psychological awareness and stoic wisdom. Drop a comment sharing which of these 5 signs you recognize most in your own experience. Remember, your awareness is not your enemy. It's your superpower waiting to be mastered.